Hi friends, I'm Olga Koelsch and welcome to my studio. Today we're gonna paint a beautiful transparent eucalyptus branch in very delicate manner, in very special technique, and I hope you really enjoy the process and like it very much. Let's start. I'm watering the area of the first leaf of eucalyptus, and I add a little bit of green, it's cobalt green, to the bottom of the leaf and distribute. We paint in this eucalyptus branch in transparent technique, so the first step will be to paint everything in very diluted manner, and I do the same for the next leaf. It's a little bit too bright, but it's okay. I just distribute the color. I make it diluted, I make it very transparent, very tender. I could just mark the branches, just for us to easy imagine how our branch will go. Eucalyptus leaves they seed on a branch, on a stem, in very different directions. Some leaves looks on you just like this, or some leaves we could see in their open parts. So now these three are relatively they are half wet, and now I take my thinner brush and I go. It's a little bit too wet. It's important to have the color very dry, you see, and I go just along the edge of the leaf, just along the edge, just making a very fine line, and the same here along the main vine of the leaf. I do not start from the top, somewhere 2/3 middle would be nice, would be the best. And with the clean and dry brush I distribute some areas, not make them too obvious. So one is ready. I will add all other details later. Now I do the same procedure with this. Go along the edge with dry brush, and just with the tip of the brush, the more sharp tip of the brush you have, the better. I use very cheap brushes from Sestrine Grene, and I buy them a lot. I usually buy 10-20 brushes, and I use it until the edge is very sharp, and after that I just donate it to my kids, because it's one of the most critical things with the brushes. The tip of the brush should be really sharp, and I prefer to doing this like in this way. So we're done with this leaf. Maybe don't hesitate to go along the leaf, I like to make the line a little bit wiggling. I add some dots or textures around. Now this leaf would be half turned with little bit curvy around. So and I think it's actually it's almost dry. It's okay. Again, with the tip with fine brush, I go along the leaf. Now I will show you what to do if this area is already dry. I just wash my brush. I make it half dry, not very dry, and I just drag out the color to the middle of the leaf, to the middle of the area. That's also an option if you find this is more comfortable for you. You could use this technique. So first let the area dry and then distribute the color with the help of half wet brush. Painting in transparent technique, it's all about contrasts. So I really want to emphasize some areas here. And you see, I take color right from the palette because it's the most bold and dry consistency there. And I like to make the line very wiggling. And with half dry brush, I just distribute these bright areas everywhere, just like this. Here will be another leaf, but we will need to let this one dry completely. So that's why I'm switching to the next leaf, and it's basically the same. And now you could just watch what I'm doing and paint it by yourself. So this leaf will intersect with the main stem. We will keep this in mind, and I want to add some variety to the colors. I've taken lavender purple, any purple. So I want to add this lavender. It's a very beautiful color. Of course, no need to have the same exact in your palette. It's easy to create with mixing, for example, quinacridone rose and ultramarine blue, but also it's a very beautiful one. So now I paint the transparent area with lavender, and I just repeat all the rest with Cobalt Green to add some variety to the leaf. And I play around with these leaves and colors. For example, this one will be half folded leaf. I just mixing lavender and cobalt green for the transparent area, and I always use just cobalt green for the outlines. And you see how nicely distributes the watercolor distributes by itself. To make the line more exact, you could go just a little bit further of the wet area, when it will be more precise. We have 1 and 2 leaves left. It was a little bit too much. No problem. Then, for example, happens like this, too bright outline. I just clean my brush, dry my brush, and I remove all the bright stains, just with dry and clean brush. And now we have again this nice crispy edge, so it's possible to make corrections during the painting. It's important to just catch the right moment. This leaf would be half closed, but we will add all these details a bit later. So now we are done with these leaves. I want to paint this one. It will intersect with its neighbor. So now I need to be very careful not to remove this color. For this purpose, I make very diluted lavender flower, and I paint right above this leaf. I try not to press too much with the brush, so it would not destroy the bottom. And basically it's from now it's the same thing. I paint outlines. So I will move it a little bit like this. I just paint the outlines, and I paint them right on the top of the other leaf, and that's how we get our transparency feeling. And the more crispy and the more contrast you could make the edges, the better, the more interesting it will look like. For example, right here, it would be nice to remove all these darker part so we could see the actual overlap. Okay. Now I'm back to this leaf, because this leaf is half folded. Now I'm painting with very diluted lavender. I painted just the part which is behind, which is left behind, with very, very careful, gentle moves. I paint this fold. I want to actually to dry it a little bit. So with paper towel, just go here, and with my fine brush, I add some shades and outline just on this folded part. And this one is also folded. I'm checking if it is wet enough, or if it is dry enough. I paint on the top with very gentle moves, and I add outlines. Now we have this fold, and where else we could add something more interesting? I think here, yes, here would be nice to make another fold. Again, where I'm watering the area, and I paint the outline. So the last thing is the stem, which will connect everything, and as we paint it transparent, it's a fun part. We just paint the stem all above. In the usual situation, if we paint it, it's a natural technique. Our stem will go beneath all the leaves, which on the top. But right now, we want to make it really, really transparent. I add just a little bit of olive green to my palette to make it a little bit different and yellowish as I think that's enough. And now wish me good luck. I want to do it just in one go and we'll see how I will manage it. Maybe not in one go. Very carefully I go with the tip of the brush. I go right on the top of all the leaves and I connect all these small little branches. And now it is still wet, and with olive color I go on one of the sides, again making an outline as we did before with leaves. I do the same trick with the stem. The more I move to the bottom, the more intense I want to make the stem looks like. And now I switch from olive to green, to cobalt green. It is very dry here, so I want again make that trick with clean and wet brush and distribute a little bit color, just like this. I like the crispiness here. I'm thinking of adding more, and I want to connect all these little branches with each other. Now we have this and this leaf which flying in the air without any connection to the main stem. And now we will do this. This one is connected just like this. And this one has its branch just here. So now it's the fun part, how we paint these invisible things. It's a bit too thick. Just with the paper towel I remove, and when it's dry I add some crispiness. I think I do not need this big brush anymore. Now I'm actually paint with bold cobalt green, and I add details. So I add vines just with the tip of the brush. I paint some vines. I emphasize the main vine of the leaf. And the fun part that you could paint vines just on the top of each other. You see how adding vines make our branch crispy, transparent, very unique. When you paint the vine, remember that it's thicker in the middle and it almost dissolved at the edges. Sometimes it's nice to dilute a little bit. If I'm painting too quick, please remember there is an option to slow down the speed, but right now I think we are getting close to the end. It's the final touches which makes really big difference. And now our transparent eucalyptus branch is ready. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the process. I hope you understood well the principles of transparent painting technique. Please let me feedback in comments which flower, which leaves you would like to paint next in this technique. Tag me on Instagram, olga.koelsch. I'm looking forward to see your paintings. Bye bye.